So when it comes to religion, they say 2 Jews, 3 opinions, and all of them are wrong. Religion is about martial arts first and foremost, and everyone with any sense at all knows that. Revelation 19, the heavenly warrior defeats the beast. Okay, and by martial arts I mean mind, body, soul, and spirit. So there was different arguments as to why we're here, different existential arguments, and they said that in the Bible there's David versus Goliath, and there's the heavenly warrior that defeats the beast in Revelation 19, a very important part of the Bible. And in Revelation 20, the final showdown, you have Hector versus Achilles in Greek mythology. Zeus is seen as a warrior deity. Okay, you have Thor and Odin, warrior deities. Poseidon, Hades, they're warrior deities in their own right. In Egyptian mythology, Horus, Set, there's Sekhmet, there's Mont. In a sense that every one of these deities, in a sense, are martial art deities. Bastet, for example, he was a martial art deity originally, and they turned her into a cat deity over time in terms of their explanation of the story and of her history, of her mythology, what have you. You have the Sumerians and other Mesopotamian religions and their deities, right? Dagon, Marduk, Tiamat, and their warrior deities. You have people praying to various so-called gods before they go to battle, and they try to come into their spirit. So when you have these Jews who are not very good at hand-to-hand combat historically, they're not very good at conveying the spirit of war historically, claiming that they know better and that they should be able to inject themselves into any religion and culture because they think that they're chosen, regardless if it's all the Jews or just some of them. That's not the concern of this video. You need to understand that none of them can claim that they're chosen by God to lead, and all of them collectively together cannot claim that. They think that if they team up with these racist whites and these LGBT people, whatever amount of Jews that are involved, that they can somehow gain some kind of upper hand or advantage or something worthwhile. But they look very stupid. I clearly look like what I am, the sabotage top martial artist ever possible, the Son of God. And the people persecuting me have dishonored and disgraced their groups to the extreme, and they look fucking retarded. It looks like some kind of pipsqueak bitch trying to sabotage the top martial artist ever, going, no, no, no! And it's far more annoying than that noise was. Far more annoying. And I'm right to call these racist, horrible people, these sadistic child molesters and their allies, these horrible people out, and to tell you how it is. Thank you. Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. So I don't care how tall someone is. Martial arts on the highest level is going to require some height to be the best that there ever was, right? So I'm 6'4". The reason why I call them pipsqueaks isn't because I'm angry at people who are, short. I'm not. There's short people in my family. My grandfather, my father's side, a very good person. As far as I know, was a shorter gentleman, right? He was under 6 feet. Maybe he was like 5'8", 5'9", maybe about Bruce Lee's height. Okay. I call them pipsqueaks because they're stepping into an arena that is not for them. And there's various characteristics that they have that disqualify them. They're not tall enough to pose a serious threat to me in hand-to-hand combat. And when it comes to defining the top martial arts, I have no interest in beating people up randomly or fighting with people for no good reason, right? But when it comes to being the top martial arts ever, sparring, single combat to the death, when it comes to these things, they simply don't measure up. They don't add up, right? They're not up to par, right? Spar and par. And it's not just being tall, it's having these other characters: fierceness, intensity, intelligence, wisdom, love, discipline, righteousness, justice, and so on and so forth, timing. So they don't have these things. So for them to act like they're the experts in religion, as I've explained earlier, they're acting like they're the experts in martial arts, and that is laughable. Krav Maga, for example, is a recent invention. They don't have history. Before Abraham, I am, not way after, and using propaganda and lies and cheating. Okay? So, again, if anyone thinks that I've been unfair or they think that this is a racist video or something, please put in the comments. And I'll consider your argument. If you're right, then I'll take the video down. But it's not. I made it clear that there's some group of Jews that are involved. For all I know, every Jew is involved. I don't know. But there's some large group of Jews that are involved. There's a large group of white people and LGBT people. They're leading the charge. During slavery, it wasn't black people leading the charge. It was whites, Jews, and LGBT people leading the charge. And that is how it is now, especially in this country. And I've never known anyone else on this planet to tell the pure truth about God, ever. And some people are spreading their falsehoods more than others. Now, if you still don't understand why I'm right to say things the way I did, put yourself in my shoes. Say you're mulatto. You're not racist. You're engaged to a white woman. Okay? And she had a child by someone else, and you're going to raise that white child yourself. That was your plan. Not racist at all. My mother's white. I'm not racist. I'm even part Jewish. And these people team up on you and start acting like children, toxic, childish, psychotic children. There's Jews who say, hey, I agree with this guy. You're right to say it. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You have nothing to explain. But because of the rules on YouTube, because of this, that, and the other thing, I feel the need to explain. I'm running out of memory on my phone, so let me wrap this up. The reason why my 1 Corinthians playlist series is so kind of, disrupted, I stumble on my words, is because they're fueling me, okay, and they're using technologies on my brain. I've been saying these things since before the Havana syndrome was exposed. Hundreds of people that work for the government, etc., came out and said that there's people who were messing up their brain. They'd never proven who they were. But I can tell you for sure this government is full of corruption and people who are doing it to people. And there's corporations involved. There's hate groups. There's political groups, what have you. I have 23 witnesses on record to the psychological operation against me. And there's the Havana syndrome victims. And as you can tell, I'm much more intelligent than other people are. It is insane to assume that I'm magically, crazy or something. That is crazy. That is crazy as hell. You think 23 witnesses mean nothing? You think the Havana syndrome, victims mean nothing? The fact that this government acknowledged it to the point where they secured them some kind of bill, some kind of funding, to address their damage? Think that means nothing? Imagine if they were targeting you your whole life, not just those moments that they were targeted. And we all know this country is not just full of hate groups and racists, it's run by hate groups and racists. And that's before Donald Trump. And of course, I consider Donald Trump somebody who lives a racist life. Okay, I hope he changes his ways. I hope he stops helping the greedy elite. Hope he stops cutting food stamps. Hope he considers my war on poverty plan and my other 5 plans. Affordable housing plan, global farming plan, the region argument. Okay, my 10% redistribution plan, etc. But he probably won't. Because there's a bunch of other people who live racist lives who are pressuring him to maintain the racist and greedy and psychotic agenda of a society that isn't even decent enough to house the homeless. And one reason is because they know that they associate black people with homelessness. And it helps them try to create this psychotic and laughable construct where they pretend that they're superior to the other races. So they make the other races disproportionately this and disproportionately that. Okay? So they can say, hey, look at us. What have you invented? How come you're not getting money? How come your country aren't successful? As if colonialism had no effect whatsoever. As if the Cold War didn't definitively prove that proxy governments are used. As if proxy, as if Ukraine isn't being used as a proxy against Russia. I mean, they're just crazy. As if there's not blood diamonds, as if there's not oil exploitation, as if there isn't global social engineering for the purpose of white supremacists, Jewish supremacists, and LGBT supremacist propaganda. I can go on and on. The geopolitical situation is clear. The socioeconomic situation that I'm in is clear. Race relations, what everyone knows, the average person knows, makes it clear that these people have the means, motive, and ability and a long history of targeting people. The Klan, MK Ultra, Havana syndrome, the fraternity harassment, Racist this, that, and the other thing. Racist police groups, police gangs, on and on and on and on and on. Corporate harassment, corporate espionage, corporate sabotage, workplace bullying, on and on and on. I'm not going to tolerate some idiot who ignores the fact that I have 23 fucking witnesses, for goodness sake. Who pretends that I'm in the wrong and not these monsters who are persecuting me because I am superior. I'm not superior because I'm taller than them. I'm superior because I'm God's son. And God commands people to behave accordingly. Part of what's sad about this is that I'm obviously a very nice person, very considerate, very caring person. My cousin, my mom's sister's son, is best described as a white Jew. Okay, his father is somebody people acknowledge as a Jew. He's a Jewish person. And we historically got along just fine. Went to Santa Cruz with him before. Okay, went out to eat with him, met his one of his fiancées at one point. Okay, he eventually he got married to somebody else, but I didn't go to his marriage because of my condition, because of me not wanting his marriage to be fumed, and I also told people I didn't approve of anybody's marriage outside the divine order, and this person is, obviously not going to obey God through me is a logical assumption, and I wasn't going to drop that on him at the last second. It was a very difficult situation. I don't know that well. Growing up, I've had white friends, close friends, right? One friend who was part Indian, part Filipino. My first girlfriend was Indian, and she did, as far as I know, she doesn't know that other friend I had. Had Hispanic friends, Mexican friends, on and on and on. Okay, it's stupid to think that I'm racist. I don't think that anyone is dumb enough to make that mistake. I boast in the Lord. I don't think that I'm superior to people because of my race. I think I'm superior to people because God set me apart as his son, right? Supernatural, right? The idea of Superman superimposed on Horus. Look it up. And Horus, and what you think of Horus, is superimposed on me, the Royal African Falcon, top martial arts, just like Jesus is. So it's my divine duty to explain these things, right? To say, hey, we are not equal. I'm Christ, okay? And communists are wrong, and fascists are wrong. God's order isn't a white supremacist order, isn't Jewish, isn't LGBT. I'm part Jewish, but I'm not from a Jewish culture. If you saw me, you wouldn't assume that I'm part Jewish or Jewish, unless you consider, my dad's tribe, the Igbos, the Jews of Africa, the true Jews, and that's a long, complicated discussion. I don't care so much who are the true and false Jews, right? The throne is established in righteousness, not Jewishness, Proverbs 16:12. And the very next chapter, Proverbs 17, says that a prudent servant will rule over a disgraceful son and share the inheritance as one of the family. God's family, okay, there's no Jew or Gentile, Galatians 3:28. Okay, only those who obey God and come into the Spirit of God, the body of Christ, and obey God through me, and those who don't, I'm the gate, the way, the truth, and the life. I'm not racist. I've come across women from other races that I wish that I could date. If a gorgeous female from another race came right now, even if she was Jewish and her family was mad at me or something, that I would give her a chance, I would date her, would have it. I do not advocate for putting Jews in camps. I've never been Jew or gay bashing in my life. Okay, I've never, assaulted white people in my life. Not that I can think of, maybe wrestling as a kid or something. Okay, I'm not a hateful person. I'm a righteous person. I'm 100% against senseless violence. I've written several books and codes that I live by. Okay, my 4 or 5 page book, my martial art code book, my codes of warfare, short, it's like maybe 1 page long, a short book. I think I've read it already. Okay, and I've written other books as well that have to do with morality. My religion is universal, pinpoint, and moral precision. I've never even heard of anyone who pushes that line as hard as I do with all their heart, who says precisely nail what is right. Never even heard of anybody, not in popular culture, not in person, nobody else ever.